Good afternoon, everyone.
As we age, we often start to notice subtle signals from our body: numbness in the hands, weakness in the legs, and that persistent stiffness or discomfort in the joints. These are not just random signs of getting older. They are biological messages, our body's way of telling us that inflammation, poor circulation, and nerve degeneration might be taking root. But here's the encouraging news: food is medicine. And today I want to talk about 8 powerful fruits, evidence backed, nutrient rich allies that can help restore nerve health, improve mobility, and reduce joint discomfort in our later years. Let's dive in. 1 point, blueberry. These tiny berries are neurological gold. Packed with anthocyanins, they increase blood flow to the brain and limbs, supporting nerve signaling and reducing oxidative stress that leads to tingling and neuropathy. Eating them daily has been shown to sharpen coordination and mobility. 2. Pineapple. This tropical fruit contains bromelain, a powerful enzyme that helps reduce joint inflammation and pain. Clinical studies show bromelain can be as effective as some non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs without the side effects. 3-point avocados. Though technically a fruit, avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats and potassium, both essential for muscle function and nerve health. They also contain magnesium, which helps relax tense or cramping muscles in the legs and hands. Cherry, especially tart cherries, they are natural COX inhibitors similar to ibuprofen and help to reduce gout-related and osteoarthritis pain. A study from a major university even showed reduced flare-ups in those consuming cherry extract regularly. Orgeat. Oranges deliver more than just vitamin C. They contain hesperidin, a plant compound that enhances capillary function and circulation, which can directly relieve numbness and cold extremities. That better blood flow can reawaken sluggish nerves. 6. Pomegranates. These are packed with polyphenols that support cartilage regeneration and reduce oxidative damage in the joints. In animal models, pomegranate extract reduced cartilage breakdown, suggesting a protective effect against joint aging. 7-point banana. Rich in vitamin B6 and potassium, bananas support both nerve repair and proper muscular contraction. B6 deficiency is often linked to neuropathy, and replenishing it can restore sensation in tingling limbs. 8. Grapes. Dark grapes, especially with seeds, contain resveratrol, a natural anti-inflammatory that has been shown to protect nerve tissue and support joint health. Resveratrol can help dampen the immune overreaction that often causes pain and stiffness. As we grow older, our bodies begin to send us subtle and sometimes not so subtle messages. You might wake up with a tingling sensation in your fingers. Maybe your legs feel weak when you stand up after sitting for a while, or your knees and hips ache after a short walk that never bothered you before. These are more than just annoyances or inevitable signs of aging. They are clues, biological signals pointing to deeper processes happening beneath the surface. When we experience tingling in the hands or weakness in the legs, it's often a result of changes in nerve function and blood flow. Our nervous system, this vast complex network that runs throughout our entire body, depends on consistent nourishment and protection. As we age, the small blood vessels that support those nerves can begin to narrow or become less efficient. When that happens, nerves don't get the oxygen or nutrients they need. They become irritable, hypersensitive, or in some cases, start to lose function altogether. That's when you might start to feel pins and needles, numbness, or burning sensations, especially in your extremities. Now, weak legs are a related concern. Muscles, too, are highly dependent on healthy circulation. As blood flow slows or becomes uneven, it impacts the delivery of oxygen and energy substrates that muscles need to perform and recover. And if we add inactivity or chronic inflammation to the mix, muscles can atrophy, that is, shrink and lose strength. The result? That feeling of unsteadiness or reduced endurance when walking, standing, or climbing stairs. And what about joint pain? Most people assume it's simply wear and tear, cartilage breaking down over time. But the story is more nuanced than that. Inflammation plays a central role in joint discomfort. Tiny immune cells infiltrate the joint space, releasing chemicals that break down cartilage and inflame the surrounding tissues. These are the same kinds of processes that contribute to conditions like osteoarthritis. What's important to understand is that inflammation doesn't happen in isolation. It is intimately linked to what we eat, how we move, and how well our bodies respond to internal stress. So here's the key idea. These symptoms, tingling hands, weak legs, and aching joints, are often rooted in inflammation, oxidative stress, poor circulation, and nerve degeneration. These aren't inevitable outcomes of aging. In fact, growing research shows that many of these changes can be slowed down or even reversed by the right lifestyle choices, particularly when it comes to diet. That brings us to something profoundly hopeful. Food is not just fuel, it's information. It speaks to our cells, our genes, and our immune system. Certain foods contain natural compounds that can open up blood vessels, reduce inflammation, nourish nerves, and protect joints. They can essentially help us reset our biology in a healthier direction. For example, the same anthocyanins that give blueberries their deep color also improve endothelial function, the health of the inner lining of blood vessels. That translates into better blood flow, especially to delicate areas like fingers and toes, where circulation can be most compromised. Or take vitamin B6 and magnesium, found in fruits like bananas and avocados. These nutrients play a key role in nerve transmission and muscle function. If you're deficient, nerves misfire, muscle spasm, and weakness sets in. But when you replenish these micronutrients through the right foods, you're giving your nervous system the tools it needs to repair and stabilize itself. It's also worth noting how systemic inflammation, this kind of low grade chronic fire that burns quietly within the body, contributes to all of these issues. Foods rich in polyphenols, such as pomegranates, grapes, and cherries, have been shown to tamp down this inflammation by modulating immune pathways and reducing oxidative damage to tissues. That includes not just joints, but nerves and muscles too. And circulation, perhaps one of the most critical factors in aging, well, is powerfully influenced by our diet. Fruits like oranges contain compounds that improve microvascular function, helping tiny capillaries deliver blood where it's needed most. If blood is the vehicle of life, microcirculation is its highway system. And when that highway gets clogged or narrowed, everything from nerve function to joint lubrication suffers. All of this leads to a powerful insight. The symptoms we associate with aging, numbness, weakness, pain, aren't just wear and tear. They're often signs of underlying reversible imbalances. And one of the most effective ways to begin restoring that balance is through consistent targeted nutrition. It's not about fads or restriction. It's about leveraging the natural medicine found in whole, colorful, vibrant fruits, foods that human biology evolved to thrive on. When you start integrating these fruits into your daily routine, you're not just snacking, you're activating your body's healing systems. You're feeding your nerves. You're strengthening your legs. You're soothing your joints from the inside out.
Aging is natural, suffering is not, and through smart food choices, we have far more control over how we age than we've been led to believe. One of the most fascinating things about the human body is how it adapts to survive. When something goes wrong, when tissues are damaged or circulation slows down, the body doesn't just sit back and accept it. It sends signals, triggers internal repair systems, and looks for ways to restore balance. But for that recovery to happen effectively, our body needs the right support. And one of the most powerful tools we can give it comes in the form of natural compounds found in foods, especially fruits.
Among the most impressive healing agents found in nature are anthocyanins and resveratrol, two plant-based compounds that do extraordinary things for our circulatory and nervous systems. They're found in fruits like blueberries and grapes, and research shows they can dramatically improve how blood flows through the body while also protecting delicate nerve cells from damage. These effects are especially important as we age, when signs like tingling hands, cold feet, and reduced coordination can start to appear more frequently. Let's start with blueberries, often called a superfruit. They've earned this title not because of hype, but because of hard science. These small, deep blueberries are loaded with anthocyanins, which give them their color and also fuel a range of beneficial biological responses. One of the most important of these is their ability to enhance endothelial function. That is, the ability of the inner lining of our blood vessels to stay relaxed, open, and responsive. The better your endothelial cells function, the more efficiently blood can travel throughout the body. Why does this matter? Because when blood flows more easily, oxygen and nutrients are delivered exactly where they're needed. Your fingertips, toes, joints, and most importantly, your nerves. Poor circulation is a key reason why people over the age of 60 often experience tingling, numbness, and muscle weakness. If the small vessels that feed your nerves become sluggish or narrowed, the nerves begin to suffer, sensations may change, reflexes may slow, strength can fade. Now, studies have shown that consuming blueberries regularly can increase blood flow to the brain and limbs, including the arms and legs. This isn't just a theoretical benefit. It's been observed in imaging studies, in lab data, and in real life improvements in balance, coordination, and memory. That means adding blueberries to your diet isn't just about general health, it's a targeted action to preserve your independence and mobility. Now, let's talk about grapes, specifically dark grapes, such as Concord or red grapes with seeds. These contain a powerful compound called resveratrol, which has been the subject of over a decade of scientific inquiry. Resveratrol acts in several ways that are deeply relevant to age-related discomfort and decline. First, it has potent anti-inflammatory properties, meaning it can calm the low-grade inflammation that creeps into joints, arteries, and nerves as we age. This is the same inflammation that contributes to joint stiffness, nerve irritation, and reduced muscular function. But resveratrol doesn't stop there. It also activates a set of genes known as sirtuins, genes that help regulate cellular repair and metabolism. When sirtuins are activated, cells become better at handling stress, removing damaged components, and recovering from injury. In simple terms, resveratrol helps cells age more slowly and recover more quickly. In animal models, resveratrol has been shown to protect nerve cells from oxidative damage, which is particularly important when you consider that nerve cells, unlike skin or muscle cells, don't easily regenerate. Once they're damaged, it can be difficult for them to bounce back. So preserving their function through antioxidant-rich nutrition becomes critical. In people with metabolic conditions like diabetes or prediabetes, which are more common in older adults, resveratrol may also help stabilize blood sugar levels and reduce the inflammation that often worsens neuropathy. This is one of the key reasons grapes and grapeseed extract are being studied as natural therapies for nerve pain and tingling. Beyond resveratrol, grapes also contain flavonoids and polyphenols that contribute to microvascular health, the condition of the smallest blood vessels in the body. When your microcirculation improves, areas that previously felt cold, numb, or weak begin to reawaken. This can translate into stronger grip strength, better foot control, and more reliable joint movement, all essential for preventing falls and staying active as we age. It's also important to recognize that these fruits don't need to be consumed in huge amounts to be effective. In fact, just a cup of blueberries a day or a serving of grapes with the skin and seeds can deliver significant benefits over time. The key is consistency. Unlike medications, which are often designed for rapid relief, the benefits of food-based compounds are cumulative. They work quietly day by day to restore balance, protect tissues, and optimize your internal systems. So when we talk about using fruits like blueberries and grapes to improve circulation and protect nerve function, we're not just talking about symptom relief, we're talking about rebuilding the foundation of vitality at the cellular level. Better circulation means better nutrient delivery. Better nerve protection means sharper movement and fewer interruptions in sensation. Over time, that means fewer limitations, less discomfort, and a fuller, more capable life. When we eat the right fruits regularly, we're not simply eating healthy. We're triggering ancient biological systems that know how to protect us. We're using the intelligence built into nature to support the intelligence built into our bodies. That's the power of food as medicine, and it starts with simple choices made every day. The human body is a beautifully interconnected system. Every nerve impulse, every muscle contraction, every breath and heartbeat depends on seamless communication between systems, and that communication is heavily influenced by what we eat. As we age, some of the most common complaints, like cramping, muscle fatigue, tingling limbs, and overall weakness, can often be traced back not just to aging itself, but to nutritional deficiencies. This is especially true when it comes to muscle and nerve health. Let's look closely at two often overlooked powerhouses in the fruit world, avocados and bananas. Both are technically fruits, although they often get left out of the typical fruit conversation because they're not sugary or brightly colored like berries or citrus. But don't let their modest appearance fool you. These two fruits are deeply restorative when it comes to muscle function, nerve repair, and electrolyte balance, especially in people over the age of 60. Starting with avocados, sometimes called nature's multivitamin, they are one of the most nutrient dense fruits on the planet. They're loaded with monounsaturated fats, which help support healthy cholesterol levels and reduce vascular inflammation. But more relevant to our conversation today is their rich content of potassium, magnesium, and vitamin E, nutrients that are fundamental for maintaining strong muscles and healthy nerve function. Potassium is a key player in what's known as electrochemical signaling, the process your brain and nerves use to communicate with your muscles. When potassium levels are low, those signals slow down or misfire. That can lead to twitching, cramping, muscle weakness, and even tingling in the limbs. Magnesium works hand in hand with potassium, helping to relax muscles after they contract. Without enough magnesium, muscles can stay tense and sore for longer than they should. This is one of the reasons people with magnesium deficiencies often wake up in the middle of the night with leg cramps or stiffness. What makes avocados so valuable is that they provide both of these minerals in a natural, absorbable form without any additives or synthetic ingredients. Just one medium avocado contains more potassium than a banana, and also provides about 15% of the daily recommended intake of magnesium. In other words, they help keep your muscles nourished, balanced, and resilient. But there's more. Avocados also contain healthy fats, specifically oleic acid, the same type of fat found in olive oil. This fat supports the myelin sheath, which is the protective layer around your nerves. When myelin is intact and healthy, nerve signals travel more efficiently. When it starts to degrade, as it can with age or poor nutrition, you may begin to feel numbness, burning, or even weakness in your extremities. By regularly eating foods that support nerve insulation, you're essentially reinforcing your nervous system's internal wiring. Now let's turn to bananas. They may seem simple, but they are one of the most neurologically supportive fruits you can eat. Bananas are especially rich in vitamin B6, which plays a crucial role in the production of neurotransmitters, chemical messengers like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA that help regulate both mood and movement. But B6 is also essential for nerve repair. In fact, a deficiency in vitamin B6 is a well-known cause of peripheral neuropathy, a condition where the nerves in your hands and feet become damaged, leading to tingling, pain, or numbness. Older adults are particularly at risk for B6 deficiency, often due to reduced absorption, medication interference, or low dietary intake. Adding bananas to your diet is a simple and effective way to begin restoring those levels. A single medium banana provides about 20% of the recommended daily intake of B6, along with soluble fiber, potassium, and natural sugars that provide a steady release of energy. Together, bananas and avocados form a kind of muscle nerve recovery team. While bananas provide energy and vitamin support for nerve signaling, avocados deliver the minerals and fats needed to keep muscles functioning smoothly and nerves protected from damage. This combination can be especially powerful for people experiencing muscle fatigue, frequent cramping, or sensory changes in the legs and hands. Let's not forget that both of these fruits are also incredibly easy to integrate into daily life. Slice an avocado onto whole grain toast, add it to a salad, or blend it into a smoothie for a creamy texture. Bananas are equally versatile. Enjoy them on their own, mixed into oatmeal, or frozen and blended into a natural dessert. And because they're rich in fiber, both fruits help stabilize blood sugar levels, another important factor in preventing nerve damage, especially for people managing metabolic conditions. What's important here isn't just that these fruits are nutritious, it's that they contain the specific nutrients your body needs to restore electrical stability, reduce discomfort, and improve mobility as you age. These are foods that help you move better, feel more energized, and reduce that creeping sense of physical fragility that many people start to notice after 60. So when we talk about restoring strength to weak legs or calming tingling in the hands, it's not only about treating symptoms, it's about giving your body the exact materials it needs to function at its best. The human body is capable of remarkable resilience when supported properly, and the path to that support often starts on your plate with smart, targeted choices that work with your biology, not against it. Bananas and avocados aren't exotic, they're not expensive, but what they offer is profoundly powerful, a return to balance, strength, and calm where there was once weakness, discomfort, or disconnection. That's what healing with food is all about. When we think about pain, especially joint pain, we often think of it as mechanical, bones rubbing together, cartilage wearing down, years of use catching up with the body. And while that's part of the story, there's a much deeper root cause that we can't ignore: inflammation. Inflammation is the silent engine that drives joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and even damage. But here's the good news: food is one of the most powerful tools we have to fight inflammation. And some of the best anti inflammatory weapons come in the form of fruit. One of the most remarkable examples is the tart cherry. Not just a delicious fruit, this small, deep red berry is a natural pain reliever. It contains anthocyanins, which are powerful plant compounds responsible for its dark color and anti inflammatory activity. These anthocyanins have been shown to block enzymes in the body called cyclooxygenase 1 and pines 2, or cycox 1 and tines 2, or cycox 1 and tines 2, or cycox 1 and tines 2. In other words, tart cherries provide a natural form of pain relief, one that's gentle on the stomach and free of pharmaceutical side effects. But the impact of cherries goes beyond blocking inflammation. They also help lower uric acid levels, which makes them especially helpful for people who suffer from gout, a painful form of arthritis that often affects the big toe, knees, or ankles. Clinical studies have shown that people who consume tart cherry juice or extract had fewer gout flare-ups, less pain, and improved mobility. One major study found that cherry consumption reduced the risk of gout attacks by 35%, and when combined with standard medications, that number jumped to over 75%. So, what's happening here? When you eat tart cherries, the anthocyanins work not only to reduce swelling, but also to neutralize oxidative stress, that is, the chemical damage that inflames tissues and speeds up cartilage breakdown. By calming inflammation and protecting joint tissue at the cellular level, cherries can help extend the life of your joints and reduce the need for pain medication. Another fruit that plays a similar role is the sweet cherry, which, while slightly lower in anthocyanins, still delivers meaningful anti-inflammatory benefits. Studies have shown that both varieties can help lower markers of inflammation in the blood, including C-reactive protein, CRP, which is often elevated in people with chronic joint issues or arthritis. Now, the anti-inflammatory benefits of cherries don't just apply to the joints. Inflammation affects the entire body, and as we age, our inflammatory response can become dysregulated. This means the body continues producing inflammatory chemicals even when they're no longer needed. That chronic low-grade inflammation has been linked not only to joint pain, but also to muscle loss, fatigue, cognitive decline, and even heart disease. So when you eat foods that reduce inflammation, you're not just easing pain, you're slowing the aging process itself. Cherries aren't acting alone. They work even better when they're part of a larger inflammation-fighting dietary pattern. Pairing cherries with other fruits and vegetables rich in polyphenols can have a synergistic effect where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That's one of the remarkable things about food-based healing. When you build a daily habit around these ingredients, their effects become cumulative. Day by day, the body becomes more resilient, less inflamed, and more capable of self-repair. For people over 60, these benefits are especially important. This is a stage of life when cartilage naturally begins to thin, joints may lose fluid, and years of movement, especially repetitive motion, start to show. But that doesn't mean we're powerless. When you feed your body the right compounds, you give your cartilage the resources it needs to maintain integrity, your joints the nutrients they need to stay lubricated, and your immune system the cues it needs to stop attacking its own tissues. The easiest way to start is by making cherries a regular part of your daily routine. You don't need to eat them by the bowlful. Just 1 cup of fresh tart cherries or half a cup of unsweetened tart cherry juice can be enough to begin lowering inflammation markers in the body. For people with more persistent joint pain, concentrated cherry extracts, available in capsule or powder form, can deliver therapeutic doses without needing to eat large volumes of fruit. And for those worried about sugar, tart cherries are actually lower in natural sugar than many other fruits. The key is to choose unsweetened versions and to integrate them into a balanced diet that emphasizes whole, minimally processed foods. Ultimately, when it comes to healing joint pain, whether it's from osteoarthritis, gout, or everyday wear and tear, The goal isn't just to manage symptoms. The goal is to address the underlying processes that cause discomfort in the first place. Inflammation, oxidative stress, and immune overreaction are all modifiable through food. Tart cherries offer a natural, effective, and scientifically validated way to reduce joint inflammation and pain. They work with your body's own healing systems to calm overactive immune responses, protect cartilage from breakdown, and restore mobility. And just as importantly, they allow you to participate in your own recovery. You're not just relying on medications or waiting for discomfort to pass. You're actively feeding your body compounds that reverse damage, reduce dependence on drugs, and help you feel better from the inside out. Pain doesn't have to be a part of aging. With the right foods, you can write a different story, one rooted in strength, resilience, and the body's natural ability to heal. When we talk about healthy aging, one of the systems that often gets overlooked is the circulatory system, specifically microcirculation. That's the blood flow through the smallest blood vessels in the body: capillaries, arterioles, and venules. These are the vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to your nerves, muscles, and joints. When microcirculation becomes sluggish or impaired, the impact can be wide-reaching. Everything from cold hands and feet to tingling sensations, muscle fatigue, joint stiffness, and even cognitive fog. The good news is that circulation is not a fixed trait, it's modifiable, meaning it can be improved, enhanced, and even restored. And one of the most effective and natural ways to do that is by eating the right foods. One of the most powerful and often underestimated tools in this regard is the humble orange. Oranges are known for their vitamin C content, and that's certainly important. Vitamin C is critical for collagen synthesis, which supports the structure of blood vessels, skin, and joints. But what makes oranges truly special, especially for people dealing with numbness, tingling, or cold extremities, is a compound called hesperidin. Hesperidin is a type of flavonoid, a plant-based compound that's found in high concentrations in citrus fruits, particularly in the white pith just beneath the peel. This compound has been studied extensively for its effects on vascular health, and the findings are impressive. Hesperidin helps strengthen capillary walls, reduces oxidative stress in blood vessels, and improves endothelial function, the ability of blood vessels to expand and contract appropriately in response to changes in blood flow. In other words, hesperidin helps your blood vessels become more elastic, more responsive, and more efficient. That's critically important as we age, because the natural tendency of blood vessels is to stiffen over time. That stiffness contributes to high blood pressure, poor tissue oxygenation, and the kinds of symptoms many people experience after 60: numb toes, tingling fingers, hands that fall asleep easily, or a general sense of heaviness in the legs. Now, oranges, especially when eaten whole rather than just as juice, deliver hesperidin in its most beneficial form. When combined with vitamin C, potassium, and folate, also found in citrus, the result is a multi-layered boost to circulation. Blood flows more freely, tissues are better nourished, and the nerves that depend on a steady supply of oxygen and glucose can function more effectively. Let's take a closer look at how this translates into everyday health. The tingling sensation people often feel in their hands and feet, particularly when sitting or sleeping, is usually a result of transient nerve compression or impaired circulation. If your microvessels are stiff or narrowed, any reduction in blood flow can quickly cause nerves to misfire, leading to pins and needles or a burning sensation. Over time, poor circulation can even lead to nerve damage, especially in people with diabetes or high blood pressure. By improving microvascular function, oranges can help reopen these tiny highways, ensuring that nerves stay nourished and oxygenated. That means less tingling, fewer cold extremities, and more comfort throughout the day. But the benefits don't stop there. Hesperidin has also been shown to reduce inflammation in the vascular system. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the drivers of arterial stiffness and vascular aging. By calming inflammation, hesperidin helps maintain the integrity and flexibility of blood vessels, which supports not only nerve health, but also joint function and cognitive performance. What's even more exciting is that hesperidin and other citrus flavonoids appear to enhance the production of nitric oxide, a molecule that signals blood vessels to relax. Higher nitric oxide levels lead to better vasodilation or opening of the vessels, which translates into lower blood pressure, improved blood flow, and enhanced delivery of nutrients to hard-to-reach tissues. Oranges also contain folate, a B vitamin that supports healthy blood cell formation and helps reduce homocysteine levels, an amino acid that, when elevated, is linked to poor circulation and increased cardiovascular risk. By lowering homocysteine, folate supports the broader goal of keeping blood vessels clean and functional. For individuals over the age of 60, when circulation can start to become compromised due to lifestyle, medical conditions, or simply the effects of aging, integrating oranges regularly into the diet can be a game changer. And not just oranges, grapefruits, mandarins, and even lemon water with pulp can offer similar benefits due to their shared flavonoid content. But as with many healing foods, how you consume them matters. Eating whole oranges allows you to benefit from both the juice and the fiber, as well as the often discarded white inner peel, which contains the highest concentrations of hesperidin. When possible, choose organic and eat the fruit fresh. Avoid processed orange juices with added sugars, as these can counteract the anti-inflammatory benefits with unnecessary metabolic stress. What's remarkable is that these benefits are not hypothetical. They've been observed in clinical settings. In one study, participants who consumed hesperidin-rich orange juice experienced significant improvements in endothelial function and reductions in blood pressure within just a few weeks. Another study found better blood flow in the legs of people with chronic venous insufficiency who consumed citrus flavonoids daily. So whether your concern is tingling hands, weak legs, or simply supporting healthier circulation and aging more comfortably, the solution may be far more delicious and far more accessible than you think. A simple orange a day is more than a snack. It's a signal to your body that you're supporting your microcirculation, your nervous system, and your long-term mobility. Sometimes the most powerful changes come from the smallest, most consistent habits, and food, when chosen wisely, becomes a quiet force of healing, protection, and resilience, one bite at a time. The idea that aging has to come with discomfort is something we need to challenge. Yes, the body changes with time. Tissues regenerate more slowly, inflammation tends to rise, and systems like the joints and nerves can become more vulnerable. But that doesn't mean degeneration is inevitable or irreversible. In fact, the latest science tells us that many of the processes that lead to pain, stiffness, weakness, and nerve sensitivity can be influenced, often significantly, by what we eat. One of the most effective strategies, consistently integrating a variety of specific fruits into your daily routine. This approach doesn't rely on pills, invasive treatments, or expensive interventions. It's grounded in something far more accessible and natural, the intelligence of your body paired with the intelligence of the right foods. Let's take a moment to revisit some of the fruits that can profoundly impact mobility, reduce joint pain, and restore nerve function when consumed regularly. Start with blueberries, which are rich in anthocyanins, natural compounds that improve blood vessel function and protect nerves from oxidative damage. They support circulation to the brain and limbs, helping relieve tingling and improve motor control. When eaten daily, blueberries have even been shown to improve balance and coordination in older adults, a critical part of preventing falls and maintaining independence. Then we have pineapples, which contain bromelain, a natural enzyme that helps break down inflammation. Bromelain is unique in that it has both anti-inflammatory and pain-relieving properties. It doesn't just mask discomfort, it works at the source by calming the immune response that inflames joints and surrounding tissues. This makes it especially helpful for people dealing with arthritis, post-injury swelling, or overuse discomfort in the knees, hips, or hands. Avocados, rich in healthy fats, magnesium, and potassium, are critical for muscle function and nerve repair. The fats in avocados help build the protective myelin sheath around nerves, which ensures smooth and efficient signal transmission. Meanwhile, their magnesium content can help relax tight muscles and calm nerve excitability, key when dealing with spasms or cramping in the legs or hands. Cherries, especially tart cherries, are powerful for joint health. Their natural compounds inhibit the COX enzymes responsible for inflammation and pain, much like over-the-counter anti-inflammatory drugs, but without the gastrointestinal side effects. Regular consumption of cherries has been linked to fewer arthritis flare-ups, reduced gout symptoms, and overall joint comfort. Oranges, often praised for their vitamin C, offer an additional benefit, hesperidin. This flavonoid improves capillary strength and supports microcirculation, ensuring that oxygen and nutrients reach even the smallest nerves and tissues. That's essential for reversing the numbness and cold sensations many people experience in their extremities as they age. Pomegranates deliver polyphenols that act as antioxidants, reducing the oxidative stress that breaks down cartilage. They've also been shown to slow the progression of joint damage in clinical studies in animal models. What's particularly impressive is that compounds in pomegranate have been found to reduce inflammatory markers in the bloodstream, meaning they're working not just locally in the joints, but systemically to reduce inflammation throughout the body. Bananas are packed with vitamin B6 and potassium nutrients that support the nervous system and muscle integrity. A deficiency in B6 is one of the most underrecognized causes of nerve dysfunction. People experiencing tingling, weakness, or burning in their limbs often find that restoring B6 levels helps reduce those symptoms and restore sensation. Potassium, meanwhile, helps keep muscles strong and nerves firing correctly. And finally, grapes, particularly dark grapes with seeds, contain resveratrol, a powerful compound that supports both joint and nerve health. It works by calming overactive immune responses, reducing inflammation, and protecting nerve tissue from damage. Grapes also support vascular health, helping ensure that nerves and joints get the steady blood flow they depend on to stay functional and pain-free. Now, here's where everything comes together. When you consume these fruits consistently, your body begins to shift, inflammation levels go down, blood flow improves, nerves receive better nutrition, muscles and joints begin to function with more ease. The improvements are often subtle at first, a little less stiffness in the morning, a little more energy in your legs, fewer moments of tingling or numbness. But over time, these small shifts add up to something much larger: resilience. The real power lies not in any single fruit, but in the synergy between them. Each of these fruits supports different aspects of the healing process. One targets inflammation, another improves circulation, a third helps regenerate nerves. Together, they form a network of support for your body's natural repair systems. This is why consistency matters. Just as poor nutrition can slowly erode health over time, the regular intake of these protective fruits can slowly restore it. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Even adding just a couple of these fruits daily can start to move your biology in a healthier direction. So rather than thinking about food as a set of restrictions or rules, think of it as a daily investment in comfort, strength, and independence. You're not just fueling your body, you're supplying it with compounds that reduce inflammation, restore function, and slow the processes that lead to chronic discomfort. This is food as medicine at its most powerful. It's non-invasive, evidence-based, and deeply empowering. No matter where you are on your health journey, it's never too late to support your nerves, strengthen your legs, soothe your joints, and reclaim the mobility and freedom that aging so often tries to take away. Sometimes healing begins with something as simple as what's on your plate, and over time, that simplicity turns into strength.